Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanas. This is episode 219, season 9. Today's date is May 13th, 2023, and welcome to the show. On today's program, I will discuss my memories of Union 76 gas stations in Chicago and also the demise of MTV News that was just announced this week. So this will be very interesting. Before I get started, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Volkswagen Rabbit. Oh boy. So here's a commercial from 1979. I remember this car very well. When it was introduced, that is. So sit back and relax and just enjoy the commercial, and I'll be right back with the program. Thank you, everyone.
Marvelous.
I have a picture just like that.
It's a painting.
What kind of car are you driving?
A 1979 Volkswagen Rabbit.
How can you tell it's a rabbit?
Careful.
Those cars all look alike to me.
You obviously have not driven a Rabbit, my good man.
But there are so many cars that cost less. Why a new Rabbit?
Because who would own a copy when he can own the original?
Volkswagen does it again.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Volkswagen Rabbit. I'll give you a brief history of this car. That was introduced in the United States in 1975. I don't know about in Germany. Actually, it was called the Golf MK1, but in the United States, it was called the Volkswagen Rabbit, and they were produced in Germany and then exported to North America. And they were around for a long time, probably till like the mid 1980s, and then they got rid of the Rabbit, and then they changed it to Golf, like worldwide. They brought the Rabbit back briefly, and then they changed it back to Golf. It's still being produced, I believe. From sources that I read, the Golf replaced the Beetle. That went out of production in the mid 70s, and then the Beetle returned in the late 1990s. My old supervisor from American Express, where I used to work, she bought a Beetle. Yeah, and that was cool. She asked me to come downstairs to the office and take a look at it, and I did, and that was cool. That was nice. I wish she asked me to, take a ride. She didn't do that. And but I remember the commercials very well. When I lived in my old neighborhood in Ashburn, I saw a couple people own it. They were parked in the driveway. I remember someone had a brown one. It looked real nice, and the commercials were well known or well remembered then too. So that's nice going back to a time seeing all that. Today you have SUVs and not many regular cars that today. I'm not a fan of SUV. They're too big. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. Okay. Anyway, in the beginning of the program, I said I was going to discuss my memories of Union 76 gas stations in Chicago, and also I talk about the demise of MTV News. Before I get started, I want to mention something. Yesterday, I received a message on Instagram from a fan, and he said he loves my work. He loves my posts. He loves my podcast. It was the nicest thing he ever wrote. Anyone has written for me. There are other people that have done that. They just comment. You know, but I had to post that on social media because it was very sweet, and I felt kind of teary eyed like that. So it's nice like that. So I'm not fishing for compliments. That's not my personality. That's not what I do. But this was very special. It really does, because most people don't know that other people love what I do every day. Of course, you get bad comments, trolls, as we call it in the internet age. I get a few of those. I really do. And some, they're not as bad. I mean, they're nasty, but when it's personal, like they call you names, or they feel like, that's, yeah. One guy, I remember one guy wrote that, he said, this is during the pandemic. He goes, "I hope you get COVID." That's nice. That's, I blocked them. So that's what you do. You just ignore them. There are haters. There are haters. If you're a public figure, I know a lot of people in the media get that probably practically every day, and they say comments, a political figure or someone on the news or a reporter in entertainment. They get them all the time, and people are nasty. Otherwise, they get wonderful comments. They say you do a good job. We love what you do, and that's great. I get that too. But whenever I post something, somehow it leads to political and nasty, and then you have people fighting. That's happened in not just on my page, not really, just on my groups, and it just, especially about Chicago, then it just explodes, and I have to delete them or block them. It's ridiculous, and most of the people don't live here. They or never visited Chicago, or they moved away long, long time ago. They just do this because based on the news, on the cable news. So I don't need that. My groups are clean. My pages are clean. I keep it that way. That's the way it is. If you don't like it, that's tough. Because a lot of people don't want to see that. If they want to be informed about politics and other stuff, go ahead, watch the news, or or just go on the internet and look at the websites and just read any political articles. That's up to you. You won't find it. You won't find it by me. Mm-mm. Okay. So, that message that person sent to me, that was very nice. It really is. I really appreciate it. All right. So here we go. We're going to talk about Union 76 gas stations. Now, the company's still around, but not in Chicago. But it has been in Chicago for a long, long time. And let's see. So it was founded in 1932 in California. I think it was I don't know exactly where, probably somewhere Southern California. And then they expanded to the Midwest and the Southeast, and they acquired Pure Oil, company. Do you remember that one? A lot of people who have lived in Chicago a long time ago, like back until from the 1910s to 1960s, they remembered this gas station. And I sort of remember when I was little. I think I remember a glimpse of that. So they acquired that, and then they turned into Union 76. And according to the comments from people yesterday when I posted this, they said they had a plant in Lamont, Illinois. I sort of remember that. Also, they had a corporate office in Schaumburg. Not that I remember. And because when I got out of DeVry, when I graduated in 1986. I started mailing out resumes the old way, not through the internet. You go to have them printed with envelopes, and then you go through the Sunday newspapers. That's what I did. Then you start mailing them out. And I mailed one out to Unicol. That's what it's called, the Union Oil Company of California, and which I said before, it was located in Schaumburg. And I did mail my resume there. I did get a interview. I got a call back or a letter, and they told me, why don't you come over and you have an interview." I said, "Okay." The problem was it was far away. I live on the south side. This was Schaumburg, but it was a good opportunity, to get my feet wet into computer programming. That is, as an intern. Well, okay, because that's what they taught us at DeVry. Just get every opportunity you can get. Start at the bottom. So I remember I drove there. It was very nice. I remember the person that interviewed me. He said, "You seem like a bright person. We're interested. Would you like to start?" And I said, "Okay, all right. So we'll call you back, for a second interview." Okay. Believe it or not, that did not happen. They sent me a letter and they told me no. That was not nice. No, 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 that was not nice. I felt dejected. It was embarrassing. I got my hopes up. Also, I was relieved because I didn't want to commute there. It was too far. But it sounds like I was promised a job there, but I don't know what happened because I don't think it was the person who interviewed me. I think it was someone in charge that decided, nah, Pete is not. He's not a good fit for this company. I said, okay. Well, still hurts at times, but that's all right. Anyway, then it lasted through the Midwest until probably to I don't know, like the 90s or 2000s, and then they sold everything from sold in the Midwest and that, and then they changed it, and then they were all converted to Citgo. Also, they also in 2001 they merged the 76 brand, and that was from Phillips 66 and Conoco. Conoco. I don't think we had a Conoco in Chicago. I remember Phillips 66. I remember one gas station that was I believe on the corner of 85th Street and Pulaski, right near Vito Next Pizza. I think I remember that. They were all over. But as for 76 stations, I don't really remember seeing those. Not the gas stations. I forgot. I remember Clark. I remember that. Like Esso. Remember those gas stations? I remember those, but not. Or Amoco, which, by the way, they're coming back. I think they are back in Chicago, but they were, and also Standard gas stations, but not Union 76. Mm-mm. So there's the brand is still sort of around in a way, but I'm talking about elsewhere in the United States. So, but they're very prominent out west, so you can see that. Just like Sinclair, there's a few out west, like I believe in Colorado, mostly there, but there were a lot of them in the Midwest at one time. Maybe someday. I think I talked about it in one episode. Maybe I'll do it again. Sort of expand it. We'll see about that. All right. Right now, I'm going to play a commercial from 1978. It's a Union 76, commercial, that is, and it features Murph, the gas station man. And that was played by Richard X. Slattery. So he was a famous character actor. So once I played this commercial, I'll talk a little bit about him and my memories of watching him. Okay, of this actor on television. So just sit back and relax and just enjoy the commercial. And I'll be right back. Thank you, everyone.
Murph, my engine's missing and my wife won't talk to me.
For newlywed, you're off to a pretty rough start.
He said he had the car tuned up.
Well, I did.
You did?
Then why are we here instead of at Honeymoon Lodge?
Somebody probably pulled the spark plug wire. It's an old wedding trick. Turn it off. Okay, start her up.
Murph, you saved my marriage.
Well, getting people off to a smooth start is what the spirit of 76 is all about.
Go with the spirit of 76.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial with Murph, in the Union 76 gas station commercial. That was portrayed by actor Richard X. Slattery. Excuse me. His full name was Richard Xavier Slattery, and he was a character actor in film, theater, television. That man was everywhere. He was in the movies, mostly television. I remember watching the commercials during the Cubs games, some from the late 70s all the way to the 80s. And they filmed most of the commercials were filmed at a 76 gas station that was adjacent to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. So it's probably and probably aired it all over the place. But it was mostly during the Cubs games. I remember seeing that, and so it was kind of funny. The spirit of 76. You remember that? That's a. And so let me give him. I'll explain about his biography. So he was born in New York, and he was in the Air Force during World War II, and then before that, he was an actor. He was a policeman in NYPD. He was there for 12 years. And then he started in community theater, and then he got discovered. So I'll give you an example of what TV shows he appeared, if you want to know. He appeared on Gunsmoke, Andy Griffith Show, F Troop, The Andy Griffith Show. Did I say that right? Maybe I did. I'm sorry. Then Bewitched, Bonanza, The Partridge Family, The Odd Couple, The Waltons, Kojak. A lot of shows, a lot of TV shows. He was, you saw his face. And my favorite was he was in Bewitched. He always played a neighbor or a policeman, and and let's see. And then he starred in three TV series. One was The Gallant Man. That was about World War II. I have that on DVD. That's a good show. That's premiered in 1962 and lasted for one season. And also there was a one-season show called Mr. Roberts based on the movie and the play. The play was actually it's from a novel from 1946. The play was premiered in Broadway in 1948. And the film premiered in 1955, and the sitcom premiered in 1965. Lasted one season. That's it. Also, his last feature role was CPO Sharkey that featured Don Rickles. Oh, can you imagine those two, arguing like that? I have that on DVD as well. It's a hilarious show. It ran for about 2 seasons, and I watched it the entire show, all of it, all the episodes on DVD, and it was hilarious. He was great. He really was like that. And unfortunately, he passed away on January 27, 1997. He was 71 years old. But we all remember him as Murph, at the gas station. He was the owner of Murph's 76 station, where during the commercials, someone came to his gas station. They had a dilemma with their car, and he always fixed it and gave kind of advice that. Yeah. So also, I want to mention about Union 76 is the balls. The orange balls. When they started, when they went into business, they had the rotating ball at each station. Rotate. That was kind of cool. When I was little, I used to see that. Like they turn around. I was fascinated when I was a little kid. It would just rotate. Turn like that. Also, what's popular was that they had these balls that were attached to your antennas, your car antenna, so on your radio, like that. I saw a few of those when I was little, and not many, but a lot of people remembered that. So that was kind of nice. Yeah. So that's great memories of about Union 76. Okay. Next up, I'm going to talk about MTV News. Now, the news about MTV News was complete shock. They announced that it was closed, so they decided to shut it down, and that happened about a few days ago. It started in 1987, but it was first called the Weekend Rock, or Weekend Rock, that is. Excuse me. And it was a new show that aired on MTV on the weekends. I think sometimes Saturdays or Sundays. I think Sundays. They had like an hour show, and it was hosted by Kurt Loder. You all remember him. He did that. He hosted the show for many years, many years. Later on, it changed the name to MTV News, and then they had like news briefs all during when MTV was on the air. And just like, when you watch ABC News, here's an ABC News World News Brief or something like that. And just like in the 70s and 80s, which is kind of nice. He was a great correspondent. I liked him a lot. I really did. And I started watching this is back then when MTV was MTV, not what it is today, because they don't play music anymore. They have reality shows and all kinds of nonsense, so it's unrecognizable today. It really is. There's no music. They had another cable channel called MTV Classics or MTV, well, first MTV2. But that changed as well. But if you want to watch classic MTV, go on YouTube and just go back to the days back in 1981 when in August, that is, start watching. They have the first episode of that, the first day that aired. It's kind of nice. It feels wonderful. They showed the first video that aired, and the second one and the third one, like that. And they played videos during the 80s, but then they broadened their programming, so they added the news, so that's great. And then they had the MTV Video Music Awards. I think it's still around, I believe. I haven't watched that in a long time. But the news was very good. And I remember late at night when I watched MTV, where I'm in the mood to watch a music video, then all of a sudden they had the news, and then you hear that sound, boom, 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 and then here comes the news. And there's Kurt Loder. He would tell us what's going on in the music world, like that. And but right now I'm going to play a clip, and this is from March 31st, 1996, and that's it's an MTV News update with Kurt Loder. Okay, so when after I play the clip, I will talk a little bit more about that. Actually, I'll talk about a little more about him and and one breaking news that he interrupted MTV programming. Okay, so just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back. Thank you.
I'm Kurt Loder with an MTV News Brief. Singer Phil Collins has announced that his 25-year association with Genesis is finally over. Collins, who says that he wanted to concentrate more on his solo career, as well as music and for movies and jazz projects, says he remains the best of friends with the other members of Genesis who are currently shopping for a new singer. Keyboardist Tony Banks says the next Genesis album will be, quote, heavier and darker. And speaking of heavier and darker, Slayer has replaced drummer Paul Bostaph with John Deddy, formerly of Testament and Evil Dead. Bostaph, sources close to the band say, was burned out. That's the news for now. We'll be back with more news later here on MTV.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the news brief from MTV News with Kurt Loder. Let me talk a little bit about him. In the 1980s, he was an editor for Rolling Stone magazine, and he was he got hired, to be the anchor and correspondent of MTV News. He's most famous with a very important news bulletin that happened in 1994. Happened in April. That Kurt Cobain, of the lead singer of Nirvana, committed suicide. That was huge. That was huge news, and I think I watched it, but no, I don't think I watched it while it aired. I think it was later on. So when it happened, then I switched over. I was watching regular TV, then on cable, just the other stations. Then I switched over to MTV, and then they kept talking about it all day long. So that was it was a shock to music fans, and it's still talked about to this day, because that album, with Nirvana. He did it well. They recorded a couple albums, but so that was sad. That really was. They were on their way to. They were the way to stardom. They were very popular, but then that was the end of the band. They didn't continue. Of course. Let's see. So David Grohl, who was in the band, Dave Grohl, that is, he went on to the Foo Fighters, and he's still with the group today. And then there were other correspondents as well, which there was not just Kurt Loder. There was Tabitha Soren. You remember her? It was John Norris, Sue Chin Peck, Chris Connolly. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you still see him on TV. Allison Stewart and Gideon Yago. That name rings a bell. I'm sure there were others, like that. And according to some articles that after it was announced that MTV News was shutting down, a lot of them were, reminiscing like that. Even the VJs from MTV, like for example, Martha Quinn, and she said, "Oh, that's sad. That really is sad. The golden age of MTV is gone." Like, so it's kind of. I remember these people that said the news. It wasn't just Kurt Loder; it was those guys like that. So that's a shame. I guess times have changed and budget cuts and the way we watch the news. Now, we can get on the internet. We don't have to watch television. We still do, but you can get your source of news on the internet, on your phone, your desktop, your tablet, like that. I don't know if MTV News is still live on the website. I don't know if they shut that down. I haven't looked. I think I checked about a couple of days ago. It's still there. We'll see. Maybe they're going to redesign it. Who knows? I think it will be. I'm not sure. Okay. So that's it for this show. I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about my memories of Union 76 gas stations in Chicago. Also, MTV News, the demise of that. And so that's it's nice going down memory lane with those two topics. Okay. I will not do another podcast episode tomorrow because it is Mother's Day. So I want to spend time with my mom. Yeah, so like everyone else. And I'll probably do one Tuesday. We'll see. If not, I'll do one on the weekend. Next weekend, that is. And that would be episode 220. So it's kind of a dreary weekend. So hopefully the sun will come up, and hopefully tomorrow on Mother's Day will be a very nice day. I heard it's going to rain off and on. What can you do? So this is Speaker Sounds, your host for Vanishing Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Once this podcast is published, you can find it wherever podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Just subscribe and you'll get a notification. Also on my YouTube channel, Vanishing Chicagoland Stories. Subscribe to that on my channel. Also will be posted on my social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter, and on my website, vanishchicagoland.blog. Okay, so I'm signing off right now. Bye-bye for me, and here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.